This is the Hastings Planning Commission meeting for October 9th, 2023, regular meeting. Call the meeting to order. First up on the agenda, approval of the minutes from September 25th meeting. Commissioners, any changes, corrections? If none, we'll consider those to be approved. There are no public hearings tonight, so under other actions. First one is McKinstry Ascension LLC, variance 2023-37. Front yard setback, 1590 Highway 55. And staff report by Justin Forty.
Thank you very much. The county is intending to incorporate renewable energy into their facilities. The consultants have been identifying a location for solar array at the government center here in Hastings, and they have a proposed location shown on this aerial photograph marked with a star as feasible and well screened. They found that the age of the building roofs would not allow for rooftop installation. The open space to the north has steep slopes. Some areas are identified for possible expansion. The southwest corner of the campus is highly visible from area streets, entrances, and seems to be more identifiable as the front. Carport array in the parking lot would provide substantially less energy and is not ideal due to the parking lot configuration. This is an above aerial screenshot showing the location of the solar arrays in blue. You can see the site is pretty well screened with trees. Those yellow dots kind of represent an open area that would be planted with additional trees. On this sheet, you can see some of the more specific planting locations for evergreen trees. And you can see at the top of the screen, it shows the face of the building, which is about 150 feet away from the solar array. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see the north frontage road. And at the bottom of the screen, there's an elevation profile showing the kind of an elevation view of the difference in elevation, starting with the building at the highest point on the left, going down to the lowest portion, about where the solar array would start, and then it would go up the hill to the south, stopping about the crest of the hill. And then there's another hill that slopes down to the road. And that red line just kind of shows just the general elevation profile where that was taken from. So you can see that the elevation will hide much of the solar array, in addition to the existing trees and the proposed trees. This is a photograph taken from North Frontage Road. You can see the slope going up to the crest, and then it would slope down and then back up again to the building. This is taken on the street side of the trees towards the building. This is taken on the other side of the trees, looking to the north at the building. And this is taken from the top of the hill towards the street. The lower hill, not the one up by where the building is, of course. This is just a zoomed in screenshot of the civil plan showing the proposed 6-foot evergreen trees that are proposed for planting. Also, you can see that there's the fence that would be around the proposal. And this is a plan drawing and a elevation drawing of the proposed solar array mount and units. On the high side, they're about 9 feet tall and about 54 inches clearance from the bottom to the ground. Accessory uses are not allowed in the front yards to assure that the principal buildings are the most visible. The front is determined by the address for consistency. The south side of the campus does not include main driveways or main doors, but it does appear to have the most prominent architecture and in mass of the building. The proposed arrays are such a distance away at about 150 feet and below grade that they wouldn't block or detract from the architectural prominence of the visual elevation of that front of the building. The public within 350 feet were notified, property owners, of the proposal. Staff has not received any comments. Staff did a review of the variance, and I'll go through that right now. The variances are deviations from a strict compliance of city code. They're regulated by the city code and state statute. The Board of Adjustment, which is the city council, and the planning commission as a recommending body, must make findings that the owner would suffer practical difficulties if the strict compliance were required rather than it just being an inconvenience. And this kind of boils down to some of these main points being that there's something physically unique with the property that contributes to the practical difficulty. The variance is not based exclusively upon a desire to increase the value or the income potential of the property. The variance would not be detrimental to the public welfare, unreasonable, or contrary to the comprehensive plan, and practical difficulties must be created by the code rather than a past or present property owner. Staff is recommending approval of the variance based on the findings that are in the staff report. But as a summary of that, the owner would suffer practical difficulties with the strict compliance of city code due to the unique nature of the site developing as a campus, with the front being not identifiable in one specific location. And the code does not address this in regards to accessory structures. There are unique physical conditions that would not allow the array in alternative locations, including steep slopes. In addition, the older building roofs wouldn't support a roof-mounted solar array. Also, having locations that are more prominent to streets and entrances would not be an option. The comprehensive plan is also supportive of solar energy and even suggests that there may be reasons to exempt it from certain standards. So with that, I can answer any questions. Also, the agents for the applicant are in attendance if they need to provide any additional background or information.
Okay, thanks, Justin. Appreciate that. Commissioners, I'll open up to any questions or discussion. Just for the record, I'll be abstaining from any discussion or voting tonight due to my connection to the project or to the county. So with that, I'll open it up. Commissioners, questions, comments, take a motion, wherever you want to go with it. Commissioner Tyken?
Awesome questions.
All right.
I was looking at the fence and it says proposed silt fence. Is that a permanent structure or is that temporary?
The silt fence would just be during construction.
And then do we allow 7-foot tall chain link fences in people's front yards?
The fencing regulations. The fencing regulations that we have apply to residential properties. Commercial ones don't have a prohibition on a 7-foot tall fence in the front yard.
Okay. And, you know, my comment was, I looked at this, I'm like, there's no way that you can't see that from the road. And I drove by it, I'm like, oh, wow, I never realized there was a dip behind that. The only other question I have, does this open us up to more variances of people putting solar in their front yard if their backyard is wooded or?
This on itself, staff doesn't believe would, because of the reasons that we cited. I don't think would apply to any residential properties. I think we differentiated it based on the fact that it's a complicated campus that has an address and prominent view from one side, but
It's really used from the
other sides function more as a front yard. And this is 150 feet away from the building and is at a significantly lower elevation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I had.
Commissioners, Commissioner Halberg?
I just have a question on the tree line, if that's going to be maintained on the west side of the solar array, if those are going to stay in place? Okay.
Commissioner, anyone? No? Okay, Commissioner Dyken?
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of variance 2023-37 as listed in our packet.
All right, motion approved, Commissioner Tyken. Do I have a second?
Second?
Commissioner McGrath, second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? And I'll abstain. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, on to other business. Justin, thanks for coming.
Good evening.
Welcome. The city council approved the South Oaks 4th Edition plat, and we've got public hearings scheduled for October 23rd Planning Commission meeting for 2 adjacent parcels in the industrial park, both requesting special use permits for service uses.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other business? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
All right, Commissioner Hubbard, second.
Second.
All right, on a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned.